Hello, welcome to episode 7 of What's Your Price? I sit down with the hilarious comedian Joe Praino. You guys are going to love him. He just did Just for Laughs this last year. Very funny dude, and you guys are going to love some of his prices. Pretty realistic. It was a fun episode. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, here we are. What's Your Price? Episode 8. I'm sitting here. I'm not sitting here, but I'm talking to Joe Praino. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to talk to you, dude. It's been a while, man. How's the pandemic treated you, or how did it treat you?
I mean, I kind of loved it. I mean, besides the 500,000 people dying and the not being able to go out to bars and the
Yeah.
no comedy, like hanging out at home and like I'm kind of a homebody. Like I like to go out. I'm totally like one extreme or the other. If I'm not like out doing comedy and drinking and partying, I'm fully at home and chilling. So I don't know if you remember, I think I might have done your show while I was still hurt, but I messed up my knee pretty bad last year. I was on crutches at the
Yeah.
start of the pandemic. So I was on lockdown for 3 months before it started. And when
Okay.
everybody else joined in, I was like, yeah, welcome to the party. Water's warm. Come on in.
Yeah. How'd you hurt your knee?
Snowboarding.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Did you have to
Some
get like down the on the cart down the mountain?
I did. Yeah. I've been skiing and or snowboarding for over 30 years, and that was the first time I ever took the sled down the mountain. And I've made fun of so many people riding the sled down while I'm
Oh,
drunk or high on the lift. Like,
yeah.
yeah, do you pay for that ride? And then I'm being dragged down the mountain in Tahoe. And I was up in Tahoe doing shows, so I ended up performing the rest of the weekend in like a wheelchair. It was just a nightmare.
Oh,
But
that's brutal. I my brother had to take that thing down one time, and he broke his collarbone. It just looked miserable.
yeah.
Was it the last run of the day?
I mean, you know, the doctor was like, it's always the last run of the day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Most people don't go back up after they shatter their knee, but it wasn't supposed to be my last run. I was up there
Okay.
performing, and Eddie Ift and I were skiing, snowboarding for the day. And I was there. I have a couple friends who live up there, and they came and went out with us. And then they were going back to the bar they work at. So we all had like beers at lunch. And I don't know if you know the mountain up there, but it's like half in Nevada, half in California. They were parked over on the California side. We were like, well, we'll take nice cruisy trail back to California with you, and then we'll go back up and catch a couple more runs. And on the nice cruisy path over, some
Ugh,
kid just wrecked right into my knee, and
ugh.
that was it.
It's always when you relax. That's like the problem with the last couple runs. You're tired and you relax, and that's when it gets you.
It was basically like a bunny slope too. Like I was just trying to keep my speed on a little flat, trying to make my way across the mountain, and some stoner just took me out at
Uh,
the knees.
that's brutal. Brutal. All right. Well, we're gonna get to know you more, obviously. But so the podcast is called "What's Your Price?"
Hmm.
I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and you're gonna tell me how much money it would cost for you to do the things. I feel like everyone has a price, and we're gonna find out what yours is. And the
Yeah, it's
first
cool.
question,
Like even before you get started, you're like, "What's the price to do my podcast?" And I was like, "I'll do it for free." You're like,
you,
"Great,
I
all
was
right,
like,
we'll do
damn,
it."
I would have given you more money.
Yeah,
All
zero
right.
dollars.
The first question is always it's always this one. It's how much would it cost or how much money would it take for you to get in the ring against Mike Tyson? You have to throw at least one punch.
I have to throw at least one punch.
You have to throw a punch.
Fair. And I will go. I mean, he's in his golden years these days. I'm gonna go with six figures, a cool 100 grand.
100 grand.
Yeah,
Okay. What if it was in his prime?
in his prime, he was pretty deadly. In his prime. I'm going like half a mil.
Yeah. I mean, in his prime, dude, you know you're just getting in there, you're walking in, you're getting brain damage, and that's
Yeah,
about it.
I've taken a lot of punches in my day. I know I can take a punch, but like that's a whole other level.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna be feeling that punch. If you're not a professional boxer, you're gonna be feeling that punch the rest of your life.
I love it because Mitch Burrow just did it last week, and he said 5 million
Wow.
And then he also, which I think that's extremely high. I'm like, come on, man. If somebody offers you a couple $100,000 or $100,000 cash, you're going to do it, I feel. But then he also was like, what if I get a good punch in on him and I knock him? I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind, bro.
That's the worst thing. I can't even believe somebody would say that.
Yeah. I had another buddy. He goes, well, how many rounds? I'm like,
yeah.
There's not going to be rounds.
In his prime, nobody lasted 2 rounds with him.
No.
So some comedian in the middle of a pandemic off the couch. Yeah. What if I go 5 rounds with him?
Yeah. And then the majority of the people are like, I'll just dive out of the ring. You're like, no money, then. No money. All right. Let's go to the next question. This one's more realistic. How much to do a bar mat shot?
To do a what? Oh, a bar mat shot?
A bar mat shot. Yeah. You know, all the bottom of the stuff at the bar after the bartender poured it.
Crisp $100 bill.
$100? That's easy. All right. Yeah. I think we can raise that.
By the way, I always tell people, like, there are so many things that you can buy from Joe Praino for a crisp $100 bill.
$100 bill.
Yeah.
I like it because the part of the goal with this podcast is once it gets going, hopefully fans start raising some money and then we do some of this shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe we'll raise $100 and you'll do a lot of things.
I've drank a lot worse than a bar mat shot.
I know, right? Me too. And then are you sober? Is it your first shot? Are you drunk?
I mean, if I'm drunk, I'll probably do it, you know, for a girl's phone number.
Yeah, there you go. Which might be about $100 anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this one right here. How much to go streaking at a game when there were fans?
That's more expensive. Now, I'll go with 10 grand.
10 grand to go streaking?
I mean, there's bail involved.
Yeah.
There's there's going to be a lot of damage control after.
Yeah.
There's everybody for history knowing what you look like naked.
100%. There's going to be video. How much to do it at a high school game?
That's more than boxing for Tyson. You're a sexual predator then. You're a sex criminal.
You better be fast, dude, and not get caught.
To do it at a high school game with the potential of being on the sex offenders list for the rest of my life. Yeah. I'm going with, I mean, maybe not as much as fighting Tyson, but like $250,000, 250 grand.
You said 100K for Tyson.
Well, that was it now. I'm saying in his prime. Okay. Yeah.
All right. It's like, you can't go up now, dude.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit about you. I know who you are. You're a very funny comic. You are not from LA. You're from New York?
I'm from New York. That's right.
Okay. How did you get to LA?
I was doing comedy in New York for a long time. I always had in my head that I would live in California at some point, but I literally, like so many New York comics, I was like, oh, I'll go to LA for a week and do some shows. And when you're in your 20s in New York, it's just like, it gets a hold of you. You always think the second I have a couple $100 to my name, I'll go visit LA. And I just never did. And then I went to a friend's wedding in San Diego. Okay. In the winter. I surfed in New York, and I surfed the pier, actually literally right by your show. I surfed, what is that?
Pacific Beach Pier?
Yeah. I surfed PB Pier before my buddy's wedding in the winter, and it was so warm and so nice. I was like, I'm moving to California. And that summer, I was just like, it's time. I'll do the LA comedy thing, and just moved to LA like 2010.
Okay, just because that's great. I love that. Now, were you doing comedy in New York? Obviously,
I was. Yeah.
How many years were you doing it out there before you moved out here?
I had been doing it like on off 10 years, but I started when I was in college, so it was really like, kind of just a thing to try. Yeah. And then I was doing bringer shows, and then I was doing whatever. But like, I would say probably 5 years with any consistency before I moved out to LA.
Okay, 5 years. And then how long have you been in LA?
It'll be 11 years in June.
Okay, so you've been doing comedy for like 16 years.
Yeah.
All right.
The first time I did stand-up was, I think, 2000. So all right. 21 years all start to finish.
Tell me what your first show was like.
My first show, so the very, very, very first spot I did, so I took a comedy class. I was doing like radio and TV in school, and so I was like, oh, comedy would be a good thing to have in the bag. And my girlfriend at the time bought me a comedy class, and I took it. And there was supposed to be a graduation show, like a graduation bringer show, but I didn't want to go up in front of all my friends for the very first time. So I went and I did a couple open mics. And the very first open mic I did was at a bookstore in Chelsea in New York, and it was hosted by the late great Brody Stevens.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I showed up, and I'm sitting in the back with my notebook, and I'm all signed up, and Brody goes up and does Brody stuff, and I was like, I am so out of my element. I was
So
like,
he was he that good back then, like
he was
hosting?
he was so great at hosting, and he was so just like
High energy, dude.
high
Just
energy and so different. And he's like, people are shopping for books, and he's like riffing on them and like, what book you getting, and all. Like, he didn't have the whole persona. He didn't have the whole "you got it." He didn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
whole thing kind of mapped out, but the bones of it were there. And he was doing something unlike anybody. And I was a big stand-up fan.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Letterman all the time, and I watched this Comedy Central, and he was doing something like I've never seen. I was like, yo, I don't know if I can do
You're
this. Like,
like,
this guy is like otherworldly. I was
yeah.
like, if this is what comedy is, I might not be cut out for that. And then they start bringing up comics. I'm like, oh, these people suck. Like,
Okay.
I can do that. I just can't do what that guy's doing.
That's funny that that's the first person you saw, and he was such a legend at the Comedy Store, and the rest
And
of
then
the
and then he disappeared, and I guess because he moved out here. And in the pre-social media days of
you can
doing
just get
stand-up,
lost.
the New York, LA, like, I didn't know what was going on out here. I didn't know Rogan's, beefing at the Comedy Store and like all that early 2000s, mid 2000s stuff. So Brody just like disappeared. And I convinced myself I made it up. I was like, that guy, I've never seen him since. And then when I got out here, I was like, oh, he's like a regular at the store, and he's like, he's a whole thing.
Yeah. That had to make you feel better. You're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
what that makes it
And I
sense.
was like, I'm glad he made it, because I like knew he had it.
Yeah. That's always refreshing when you see somebody and you're like, all right, I get it. I get
And
it.
then
That's
and to answer your question, I went up and just, stumbled through a couple of hacky early 2000s white guy premises.
of course. Of course. Do you did you script it at all? Like was it word for word, or we like freestyling, or what how was it?
When I first did it, especially since I was like taking a class, it was like word for word. I would type it out in my computer, print it out, take it to the class. We'd run it. I'd edit it. I mean, I ran it word for word. I ran it word for word for years, and now I never write anything down.
Yeah.
I haven't written out a joke in 10 years.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was like I would highlight my punchlines. I would like look at the script and be like, oh, if I go too long without a highlighted part, I should probably write a punchline in there. And now it's just all feel.
I know. That's how I am. My whole thing was 5 minutes word for word. Like I knew every word exactly. And now same thing. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing. I never write it down, but yeah, that's just the way it is.
But now it's so much easier to videotape it, and you can go back and watch your stuff and like learn it way easier.
Yeah. And once you know what's funny and you can get up a lot more, then you can work things out versus one show. You're just like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
Did anybody think you were funny at that show?
At the very first show?
Yeah.
I remember feeling like I did okay, especially in comparison to the other, not comparison to Brody, but comparison to like the other open micers. Like, I got a couple laughs, got some confidence, did that, and then did like another UCB show before my first like show at a comedy club, and all of them I like did pretty well, and was like, oh, maybe there's something to this. Maybe like it is something to try.
Yeah, because I always think that's a big deal. Like your first show, the only reason, like one person came up to me and they were like, "You were really funny. Where else do you do comedy?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm funny." And then it hooked me. And I always think it's like if nobody told you that you were funny or you did really bad compared to all the comics, like you probably wouldn't have done it again.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just a confidence thing.
Totally. Because I was ready to bail. I was totally doing it as like I just thought it would be a good thing. Like I said, a good like tool to have, like to say I've done it, to try write some jokes. My dream was like I went to school for TV because I just thought Letterman was the coolest gig ever. I was like, oh, I should try jokes. He opens the show with like a monologue. He's got like a comedy thing. And then if I had done poorly, I would have bailed so quick.
Yeah.
And doing well, I was like, I always say now, like I never had plans on being a comic. It just sort of happened because I did okay.
Yeah. Do you have any idea? Do you remember what your first like couple bits were on at all?
Yeah, I remember a couple of them. One was about, remember when we first started changing the quarter? Like it used to just be the heads and the eagle, and then we
Yeah.
started doing the states. I did the dumbest jokes about like how the states should be like more obvious state jokes. You know what I mean? Like I was like, Florida's got a palm tree. It should have a Cuban boy in a tire floating over from Havana. I was just like,
Just good old corner jokes,
good
dude.
old Elian Gonzalez, early 2000s racist
Oh,
white
that's
guy shit.
funny. I know, right? That's right. I remember my first set was all hand job shit. It was all like, girls, you should give a good hand job. And it's just like, what are you doing? Now you're right. I'd probably be canceled for half the
Yeah,
shit I
exactly.
said.
I mean, the whole thing was for sure. I mean, you look back, like at the time, it was fine, totally fine. It's all cancelable
Yeah.
stuff now.
Yeah.
I think I had a 3-minute riff on like the WNBA being garbage, and like if you went out there now, Sarah Silverman would do a podcast about how you shouldn't have a life anymore.
Still probably good premise.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think I did jokes about like, I think the WNBA bit included something about like how the team to beat's got to be the one when like their periods are all synced up or something like that, and they're they probably rip rebounds down. And
Nowadays, comedian Joe Praino rips on WNBA, cancel him. You're like, all right, ridiculous. All right, let's get back to some questions. How much money would it cost for you to post Trump 2024 and then walk away from it for 24 hours? You couldn't say anything.
Like almost nothing on like Facebook, on Twitter.
Yeah, Facebook.
On Facebook
And Twitter. Would one each, whatever one you're more popular on.
Yeah, I'm more popular on Twitter, but I'd be less likely to do it on Facebook because it's like all your more real friends.
Your friend.
But like I would still do it for $50. You know what I mean? Like I don't care.
I'll Venmo you $50 right now.
Yeah.
Post Trump 2024.
I think I have to reactivate my Facebook, but I will do it. I'll do it for $50 because I don't give a shit. What do I care?
Oh my God. You got to do it then. And I got to film it as a follow-up. We get this thing going. I'll send $50, we'll add it to the 75.
Yeah. We'll do it at the show, and we'll track it the whole night. We'll track all the comments.
There we go, dude. I love it, dude. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. All right. This one's not as easy. How much to go silent for a month?
I feel like I'd enjoy it. And I feel like, I mean, give me $4,000. That's
$4,000.
That's 3 months of my rent. I could, if I pay 3 months of rent by not talking, yeah, no doubt.
God, do you think you could do it?
I think I could absolutely do it. The only reason I couldn't do it would be, I have my own podcast that I'm supposed to do twice a week. So my only business obligation includes me talking.
Yeah.
But if Ruther was like, dude, go for it, I could absolutely not talk for a month. I don't say a whole lot when I'm not on stage and when I'm not. You've hung out with me. I'm not like Mr.
No, yeah, you don't need all the attention. You're not Mr. Talkative, but yeah, I get it. But you'd have to wear one of those shot collars that will go off anytime that you talk.
I listen to some music, read some books, go for a lot of quiet walks on the beach.
I like it, dude. Man, that would be hard. It'd be hard. All right, how about this one? How much since you have a mustache, how much to shave your mustache?
Crisp $100 bill.
$100,
it'll grow back.
It'll grow back. Yeah. So we'll do $100. And then how much to shave your eyebrows?
Oh, that's a lot more. They're gonna grow back too, but that's a process.
Do they grow back?
I think they've got to, right? But
I don't know, dude.
Also, look at these things. These things are thick. Like if
you got thick eyebrows.
For them to come back, and I was always self-conscious about them when I was younger, but like for them to get back to just like a normal, respective thing, I'm gonna have to be like off the radar for 6 months. So let's double that. Let's double my 3 month thing. Let's call it $8,500.
$8,500 to shave the eyebrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think you would look oddly odd without eyebrows.
Yeah, I would look really odd.
Now, what would you do if you did the eyebrows? Would you go no eyebrows and no mustache, or would you just rock all the hair here?
Yeah, just extra, like start growing the mustache down to like the handlebar style. Just try to get people's attention away from it. Wear hats real low,
Yeah.
or do the painted on East LA look.
Oh my God! Everywhere you were just like this.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, since you said paint it on, how much would it cost to have one of your buddies draw your eyebrows on for a month?
So I'm shaving them and they're drawing them on.
You already shaved them, and now we're
Yeah.
extra money for somebody to draw them on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll take the bonus. Let's let's round it up then. I already have 8,500 for shaving them off. Make it a cool 10 grand. Make it 1,500 because like I could use the painting them on. You know what I mean? But if you're offering me money,
But they get to paint on whatever they want.
yeah. I mean, they can't be a lot worse than this. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you got bushy eyebrows, but that
Yeah.
it fits you.
It's become like I feel like it's become a thing. Like when I was a kid, I felt I was very self-conscious because I thought it was like a mock. And now like the strong eyebrows is like
Yeah,
totally
dominance, power.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, dude, I got these little bitch ass eyebrows.
Even with women, right? Like women used to have like no eyebrows. Now the whole thing is like a very distinct eyebrow.
They do them a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more. All right, let's do this one. How much to be homeless for a week?
It's a good one. It's basically just camping, right?
I mean, I guess, but you're not. You don't get to go to the desert.
Right.
You're in Santa Monica out on the street.
Yeah.
I love how you're basically camping. I mean, that's a good way to look at it.
I'm trying to think of my day rate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like $2,000.
Okay.
That's like it's not quite $300 a day. Like if I say $1,000, like that's not that's a pretty shitty day rate. You know what I mean? But if you're getting $300 a day, and also what else am I doing? You know, like $300 to just basically figure it out outside for a week.
I love it how you broke it down, dude. That's fantastic. Well, so let's go this since the same route. How much to sleep in a dumpster for 24 hours? It's 20. You're not going to sleep for 24 hours, but I'm not going to let you out after 8.
But you're gonna essentially live in a dumpster, and it's just
Pacific Beach dumpster too.
Yeah, a disgusting. Here's the thing: I have a very poor sense of smell, so this is good for me. But when something breaks through that poor sense of smell, I can get pretty nauseous. It's more than being homeless for a week, that's for sure.
Yeah, because if you're homeless, you get to at least try to find a good place to sleep.
Yeah, it just sounds gross. I'm gonna double it, $4,000.
All right, dude. I love how you're actually like real. Mitch Burrow had his numbers were all just like 20,000. I'm like, shut up, dude. If I came to this with cash, bro, you're gonna do a lot of this stuff.
See, this is what I'm thinking. One day your podcast is going to absolutely blow up. You're gonna have fans of all kinds of bank accounts, and somebody's gonna be like, "Get Joe Praino on the phone. I've got $4,000 cash. I got a dumpster. Let's go." And I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I will do it for $4,000."
Like the crab
$4,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. You know the crab feast. It all those guys listen to all the episodes. That's the goal. Is people will go back through the episodes and find shit to have you do.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, think about it this way: for $4,000, I can spend a very cushy week in Hawaii. I basically live in a dumpster for a day in exchange for a cushy week in Hawaii.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Pretty great, right?
It's a good trade-off. If you picture it, the whole time you're in the dumpster, you're like, I'll be in Hawaii in a couple days.
It's 24 hours. I just got to get through without puking, you know?
I like it, dude. Yeah, that would be the hard part. Hopefully it's, it's just like furniture and stuff and you just gotta, whatever. How about this? We're going to switch back to some comedy. What is the best show you've ever done?
It's a great question. I did a show actually last year it was right before Thanksgiving. A great New York comic, Sandy Marks, runs a bunch of shows in and around New York, and he does all these like cool like out suburban like theater type spaces. And he was like, "Hey, I'm doing one out in Morristown, New Jersey. Like, do it for me." And I was like, "Cool." And I think it was either the day before Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving. I think it was like the day, one of them. But you know, that's a big party weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I show up and it's a beautiful, like, I forget what the number was, but like 3,000 seat theater or something like that, sold out with
Wow.
people wanting to like get their Thanksgiving party on.
Yeah.
And that was a fun show because it just felt awesome, like being backstage in like a beautiful old, like, you know, it's probably 100-year-old theater. That was a great one. And then I did Just for Laughs, you know, 2
Yeah,
summers
you did
ago.
Just for Laughs, which is a huge deal. How was
Yeah.
that?
It was super fun. In that first show where you go out and it's a packed theater. They're Monument National or whatever. I think it was 1,500 people or something like that, and so much pressure of all the industry and all that stuff. But it was very cool to be out there with Pete Holmes hosting and knowing everybody's here, kind of like vying for their
Yeah.
comedy career, and a packed theater full of Canadians. That was a super fun one as well.
Were you nervous as hell?
That's as nervous as I've been in a long time. I wasn't that nervous. I really got into we talked about me being like quiet.
Yeah.
Like all the other comedians, I felt like had this nervous energy of like all talking to each other and all kind of like psychic. I found like a corner. I put on my headphones. I never do that. I just like threw on some music and just like zoned out until it was my time. And I was like second to last or something on the second show. So I had to wait all day. And I was like, yeah, I was just in a corner like listening. And then yeah, it was super fun though. And I'm sure I'm forgetting like another couple great shows, but those are standouts that are recent.
When you had your headphones on, were you listening to any of the comics before you at all, or just no?
I would like walk out, just like hear the reaction every once in a while, but for the most part, no. I didn't like listen to anybody's full set except for like the guy before me or the two comics before me.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I always feel like, that would be a very nerve-wracking thing for me. It's kind of like people always go, do you get nervous? And you're like, oh, if it's a normal show, no, not really. But if it's something different or new, then for me, that's when I get nervous. So I would imagine that had to be like a big time show where you're like, all right. And there's a lot at stake.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was the things that make me nervous these days is like any sort of showcase thing, like with that on the line, or like, when a girl you're dating or whatever comes see you for the first time or whatever, or like somebody that's like personally important to you, you want them to like think you're good at your job.
Yeah.
Those are the only times I get nervous. Otherwise, it's like, I don't care, like sold out Comedy Store main room or whatever. You're like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter if there's 200 or 300 people. It's more like, what do I have on the line for it?
Like that show in Jersey, which stands out, the beautiful packed theater, like wall, completely sold out. I wasn't nervous for a second. I was like, it's just a lot of people. Yeah. It's even better than if it was empty.
How was the timing weird on a theater show like that with that many people?
Yeah. It definitely comes in like more of a rolling wave. And then you know how like when you get a joke that hits like, and then it hits a little bit later here, when it's such a big room, that little pocket that it hits later is still like 65 people or 80 people or whatever. So you kind of got to wait.
You got to wait.
The pacing's definitely a little different. You just got to wait, make sure everybody's got it.
You got to wait like it's a Zoom show.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Just for Laugh show, it's big and it's industry. You're kind of waiting. You're like, oh, are you guys done? Are we done here? Like,
yeah.
So there's so many layers to it.
That's awesome. I did Just for Laughs. That would be so awesome to do. That one looks like it'd be fun. It'd be stressful, but it looks like it would be fun.
It was so, and once you get that first showcase out of the way, then it becomes the most fun because you're in this festival, everybody's there. The show I did like 2 nights later was Michael Che, Wanda Sykes, hosted by Chris Red. Rappaport was on.
I remember seeing you post that and seeing the lineup and just going, this is awesome.
Yeah. And I went up and I was like, oh, now I'm nervous for this one because like everybody on this is a killer. And when I crushed, people were like, "Oh, I didn't even know who you were," and you're
Yeah.
hanging with like Che, and I'm like, "This is the best time I've ever had doing."
By the
comedy.
way, how cool was Che?
So cool.
Dude, I did a show with him in San Diego. I'm not going to say the club because I hate the club. But it was I did a show with him, and at the end of every show, he spent like 10 minutes buying everybody in the audience drinks and just partying and being cool. And he the bar had to be like, "Hey man, you're kind of buying too many drinks. Like, we need you to chill out." And he goes, "I don't care, man. Just take it out of my pay." Just
Yeah.
he like bought like the first 2 rows shots, and it was just. And then he was cool to go out afterwards, and he was just the coolest guy ever. And this was before SNL and all that stuff, but he was just so cool that I was like, "Oh man, this guy's awesome."
Yeah, he was so chill in that show in the green room. I mean, it was Chris Red's show, and like
Chris Red's
obviously-
great too.
Yeah, so they're all there, and everybody's playing. Wanda's there, and you're like, man, this is like a heavy hitters thing. But he was just like chill, you know. I always try to like stay out of those people's way, do my own thing. But like he was the guy who was like approaching me to say, "Yo, what's up?" Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, cool dude.
And that's how he was with me. Like, I was the one just featuring, and as a feature, you're just trying to get out of their way. And he was like he made me inclusive. So I was like, "Oh, this guy's awesome." And then of course he went on to have such good success. So you're like, that's the guy that deserves it. So that was
Yeah,
dope.
you root for him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, let's go. Let's do some sports one. By the way, thank you for wearing the Padres hat, dude. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. I'm so glad they brought back the brown.
Oh, dude, how dope are the brown jerseys?
Yeah, it's so great. I love coming down to games in San Diego. I love the pods. Is that the 394?
That's the 394, full brown.
I love that. That's a great beer. That's the beer I always drink when I'm doing shows down there, because like a couple different places have that on draft.
We're working on doing a show with these guys, so hopefully it happens. So
And I'm such a Tony Gwynn stan growing up too. Loved Tony Gwynn.
dude, I almost fought one of my best friends because he was talking shit about Tony Gwynn. And I literally was like, "Dude, if you say one more thing, dude, I'm literally gonna fight you." Like, that's
what's the shit talk about Tony?
Oh no,
Gwynn?
he was just calling him fat and just all this stuff, and I was getting like physically angry, and I was like, "Bro, we're gonna fight if you say one more thing." So, all right, sports question right here.
All right.
How much to take a fastball to the body from a major league pitcher?
Oof. Like middle of the road major league pitcher, mid 90s.
You know what? Let's just do for fun. Let's say Randy Johnson in his prime.
Oh, jeez. Jeez.
I mean, I can't say a knuckleball pitcher. That's not even gonna hurt. We got to make this thing hurt.
And Johnson, big lefty, coming across,
Coming
all
across
kinds of movement on it. In my chest, is that what you said?
Well, he's gonna hit you. I mean,
He's
don't
gonna
know
hit you
where.
inside. Hopefully, I'm getting my back turned.
Yeah, you gotta turn into it.
You could break a rib.
I love it because you know sports, so you're really
yeah. I'm in my head. I'm going like, would I rather do that or like live in a dumpster for 24 hours? I think I'd rather live in a dumpster. Would I say $4,000 for a dumpster?
Yeah, you said $4,000.
I'm gonna say say $5,000. $5,000 to take a
$5,000. So if I come to you and I'm like $2,000, I got this major league pitcher. He's gonna hit you with a fastball. You're saying no?
Yeah, I mean, Randy Johnson is prime's a whole different thing. Yeah, $2,000's tough, man. I don't know, like $2,000.
I just love it because my buddy Jeff Dye knows some major league pitchers, so we can set this shit up. And it might be like Kyle Freeland or somebody like that. So let's say them. How much to take a fastball from them?
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna make it like 60, 50-60% of what of Randy Johnson's prime. $2,500.
Yeah, $2,500. Would you do it?
Yeah, $2,500.
Okay. All right.
You tried to get me in at $2,000. I'm like, no, let me get that $500 bump just in case Kyle Freeland wants to drill me.
Yeah, I got to lowball you. That's the point. All right. How about this one? How much to take a slap from one of those slap guys, like the dudes that are from Belarus and Russia and all those guys? You see them online all the time.
I'd rather do that than take only because I don't know what that feels like. You know what I mean? Like I can imagine.
So you'd rather take a slap to the face from one of those guys than a fastball to the body?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane to me.
I have a pretty, you know what the thing is? I played ball for a long time and I got hit a lot and I didn't like it. And I've gotten punched in the face a lot and I liked it. I liked it more.
Why have you been punched in the face a
You
lot?
know, I was a reckless, mouthy, drinking 20 something in New York that
Great.
gave zero fucks. Uh, I'm going to go with, I'll give you your $2,000 this time. $2,000.
Okay, $2,000 to get slapped in the face by one of those dudes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
great.
Yeah, let's say $2,000. I might be totally lowballing that one, but
I mean, those guys are beasts, dude.
I know they are, but it's not a punch.
No, it's just a
It's a
slap.
slap.
But you
Yeah.
see them, they like go like.
Yeah, but it is like a bear claw slap. Like there's a lot of meatiness to their
Oh
hands.
yeah. No, I'm sure
It
you'd
may as well
fine.
be a punch.
I'm sure you'd be fine, dude.
Yeah.
All right, how much to run a marathon?
I hate running. I fucking hate running.
26 miles.
Yeah. So
0.5 or some shit like that.
do I don't have to like finish it. I just got to get it done.
You got to get it done. You don't have to finish in a time or anything.
Okay. Let's go with. See, I almost broke it down by miles. Yeah, let's go $100 a mile.
Okay, $2,600.
That's way too high. Let's go $50 a mile. $1,300.
$1,300 you do a marathon?
Yeah,
Oh, that's doable.
that's. I mean, I can't be charging more to run a marathon. Like if I just got to get it done, yeah, $50 a mile. Those first couple miles are gonna be easy, and the $50 will be easy. The last couple miles are definitely not gonna be worth $50, but like $50 a mile just to get it done. Yeah,
You know what I feel like? You remember those fundraisers where you pay the kids like so much to do a mile? I feel like that's what we just did.
It was like an AIDS walk.
No, I was talking about the little kids that are like trying to fundraise for their football team. But
Yeah. I think $50 a mile is like reasonable. You know, the sad thing is so many people will just run marathons for free.
Yeah.
Like you know, I don't think I could go much more than $50 a mile without being like, you're just a puss.
Yeah, no way, dude. I don't think so either. I don't. That would be a lot of money for me to do. How about this? One more sports question. How much to do the ride a bull for 8 seconds?
This one's way lower. Like, I mean, I know there's potential danger.
Yeah.
Right. And also riding it for 8 seconds. Well, first of all, to ride a bull for 8 seconds, you got to be a professional bull rider.
No, you're not going to do it, but
to try.
Like you got to rope in. You got to get like you know.
Let's do it by the second. $800.
$800.
Yeah, $800. I'll get on a bull.
Or how about this? Could we pay you $100 per second you last?
No way, because I'm not. I don't even think I've lasted on a mechanical bull 8 seconds.
I'm trying to get you to do this for $200.
Yeah.
Some of this I won't even need fans. I'm just gonna put the $200.
I wonder how many
down.
people listen to this and be like, "Dude's riding a bull for $800 and he's living in a dump." Like, dude, just run a marathon and fucking.
Some people are be like, "All right, I think this guy, you know, he needs some money."
Yeah. I mean, I like to be reasonable because, like, dude, $800 is a nice little chunk of change. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if somebody came to you with the cash and goes, "Here's $800," I mean, I think you got to do it.
Yeah.
Jeff Dye said he'd do it for $1,000.
See, Jeff Dye's got a lot more money than I do, so I should do it for $800. That seems fair.
I still don't believe he'll do it, but that's what he said. That was off the record, though. I probably shouldn't have said that. All right, let's go. How about this?
I'm gonna run my marathon just so I could have money to pay for Jeff Dye to ride a bull.
Oh, it'd be so good. And then it's like, this guy nominates this guy.
Yeah, Kyle Freeland drills me. I take 1,500. I take the other 1,000. I go, Jeff, get on that bull.
I'm gonna be honest. If you did all this, it sounds like you're gonna be making 30, 40 grand.
Yeah,
it's not a bad year.
we just need Che to listen to your podcast and pay for me to do stupid shit.
Oh my God, he would do it for sure. Okay, let's do this because this kind of goes with the bull riding. How much to wear 2 arm casts for a month? Just the 2 arm casts like this.
This is tough. It's both of them.
Both of them.
You're basically saying you're not wiping your own ass for a month.
I mean, you better have some friends.
Right?
Yeah.
So I got to get a bidet minimum to start.
Yeah.
That's a man. It's a tough one. I'm going with my day rate again. Okay, so
I love how you have a rate.
for a month,
A month.
$6,000.
6,000.
$200 a day
You could do
for arm
2 arm
casts.
casts. Do you have anybody to help you?
I'm gonna need somebody to help me, obviously.
You're gonna have
I
to
can't-
pay them.
What am I gonna eat out of a bowl?
You're gonna
Like
have
a
to pay
dog?
them something.
Yeah. What did I say? $6,000. I still think once you settle in, you know, you just gotta ride it out, and you're $6,000 richer.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's easy
Dude,
money.
I was no weight bearing on my leg for
Yeah, so you kind of did it.
12 weeks. Now I had to use some of my hands, but like I couldn't go anywhere. I had crutches all the time. No, and even being on crutches was a pain in the ass. That's 3 months, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot. So
But
$6,000.
but both arms is tough. $6,000.
Are you sticking to $6,000? Okay.
Yeah, I'll
How
do
much
it
for
for
a
$6,000.
week?
A week?
Here comes your day rate.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm trying to think like it's the long. Yeah. So if I was saying $6,000 for a month, I mean that works out. I'm saying $2,000.
Okay. $2,000 a week.
You would think it should be you would think it would be less, but it's still gotta. You still have to exceed a certain amount just for it to be like worth it.
Yeah, and you have to find somebody to help you out.
Yeah. Like $6,000 is at $200 a day for a month. But if you go, will you do it tomorrow for $200? I'm like, nah, not really, because I don't really need $200. But I do need $6,000.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Perfect, dude. That's funny. All right, let's see about this. What's the worst show you've done?
The worst show I've done. I know it. It'll forever be my worst show. I know I'll never do a worse show. So when I told you I started, I think I told you before we started recording, but I started when I was in college, or maybe I told you on the show. I started when I was in college, and when I was in college, I went to school in Pennsylvania, about 90 minutes outside of New York City. So when I started, I was in at home in New York. So I started in the summer, started doing some shows. And when I would go back to school, like every other Wednesday, I would drive into the city and do this like amateur night that this guy I knew ran and blah, blah, blah. So a couple of my friends go, hey man, we want to come see your show. Like if you'll like bring us with you. And I was like, sure. So I bring a bunch of my boys from college in the car, and they come, and I do great. And one of the dudes who I don't really know that well, he's just like a friend of one of theirs, is like, hey man, I'm the head of the Greek Society at school. I would love you to come do this event that we're doing next week and do some stand-up. And I was like, all right. He's like, we'll pay you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool. What do you want me to do? And he's like, just do exactly what you did. And so I show up, and it's like right in the middle of the quad, and it's everybody in the whole Greek society. It's all the fraternity houses, all the sorority houses. We were a big Greek school. So basically every single person in school. And it's just not an environment for comedy.
No,
it's like a cancer benefit, and they don't tell me. And I do like a cancer joke early in the set, and like it was the longest, most painful 5 minutes of my life.
5 minutes?
Yeah. It was like 5 or 8 minutes or something like that. It felt like a year. And also all I could think of the whole time was like, every girl in school is watching me bomb at stand-up comedy. I've also been doing it like 3 months.
Of course.
I have no business doing a show for 3,000 people outdoors before a cancer benefit.
Yeah, you need to be polished to be able to do that many people in that kind of setting. And then you still have to be lucky because they all have to kind of want to hear comedy.
And no one wanted to hear comedy. It was like out of nowhere. They're like, and we have one of our students who's going to come up and do some stand-up comedy. And it was just so bad. And all I could think of was like, I wish I had some of your offers then. Like, how much to stay inside your dorm room for a month? I'm like, I did it for free.
Did people boo you, or were they yelling, or were they
just awful, awkward silence? Yeah.
Silence.
Yeah. Like mostly silence, chatter. Like, just like I did not capture their attention at all. And they're like, everybody's just like, what is this? People being like, I know that guy.
As a comedian, silence is the worst too.
Going, and then everywhere I went for like, a month. Hey man, saw you do comedy. And it was like, most people were like, you're pretty good. It's like, yeah, well, you didn't laugh. So could have used you out there, Ted.
Oh my God. That's insane.
So every single time I have one of those big shows, like even like the showcases or the big show where you like feel like, I go, it'll never be that bad.
That's
It'll
true.
never be that bad.
That you set the bar. You set the bar there, so nothing will be that bad. And that's kind of the good thing about when you have a show like that. You're like, well, this is nothing compared to what this was.
Just like dry mouth and flop sweat and every girl you've ever wanted to hook up with watching you eat shit.
See, that part would be brutal. I did a show with it was 200 real estate employees, and they had a show, and then they just had a new patio that they opened up, and everybody was on the patio, and they were just all talking to each other, and then they go, all right, do comedy, and nobody cared. I literally was like, they were all talking to each other, and I literally did comedy for 15 minutes, and it was so bad that I was talking to the other comedian during the show about how bad it was. I was like, wow, Chris, this is a good thing we did this. This is terrible. Like, it was that bad. And it's like, once you do something like that, you're like, well, can't get much worse than this.
Yeah. And once you do one of those, you can do them forever. You're just like, all right, fine. If you're going to pay me, like, I'll eat shit at your corporate
Did you get paid for that one?
I did, but like not, like $50 or something
not
like
enough.
That. Yeah. I'd rather sleep in a dumpster.
Which we can make that work.
I'd rather sleep in a dumpster than.
Was that your biggest bomb?
For sure. Okay. Just on the scale and just like how equipped I was to bomb and how, I didn't have any tricks. I didn't have any
not that
ability to do crowd work or like riff on the thing. Now when I show up to stuff like that, like a corporate or like some event somebody asks you to do or some charity thing, the first thing is like, look around, pick something out to make fun of, make them know that you're paying attention to them. Like I did a corporate I did like a charity event up in Tahoe last year for like this golf tournament. And I just watched all these guys play golf and I was just like riffing on their golf game.
Just talking
like,
shit.
They don't care. They don't want, and I started doing material for 2 seconds. They're like, no, go back to making fun of Tim.
Yeah, just go back to roasting us.
Yeah. I had none of that in my bag when I bombed in front of every college girl I'd ever met.
Oh man, that's brutal. Especially at that age too. It's like devastating.
I almost quit comedy.
Oh man. Okay, let's do this. We have you have any tattoos?
I do. I have 3 tattoos.
Okay. So this tattoos aren't as won't be like getting one is not as big of a deal to you then.
Yeah.
What about how much to get a tramp stamp?
Like something terrible, like a sunshine or some shit like that. Terrible.
Yeah, we'll do a sunshine with a dolphin jumping out of it.
Yeah, Nick Cobb has that tattoo.
Does he really?
Do you know Nick Cobb?
Yeah, I know Nick.
He literally has like I think like the Sublime Sun.
Oh my God, that's
like tramp stamp, and he like got it like on like not as a bet.
It just says Santeria.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to weigh this out. Because you can get it taken off. You know what I mean? Do I have to keep it for a certain amount of time?
At least a year.
Okay. A year. And then the thing is like, or do I just make it a price where I could just live with it?
Let's just say, let's do this. Your buddy Lachlan gets to pick it.
Yeah, he'll put something terrible on me.
Of course he will.
He's a motherfucker. Don't trust the nice guy Canadian things. They're so nice. They're like maple syrup. They're nice they're sweet going down, but they're murdering you on the inside.
Yeah.
Dude, you have me so in my head because I have to factor in all the other things I said. Like I have to rank them. I can't charge.
I love how you're doing that. You're like analytically thinking about
what did I say? I'd let a guy slap me in the face for
$2,500.
Yeah. So it's a year though. Let's call it $4,000.
$4,000 you get a tramp stamp.
It seems high and low simultaneously.
I think it seems insanely low, but
insanely low?
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
A tramp stamp on your back is a tattoo for a year.
It's not like I'm going to a lot of Vegas pool parties. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but dude, I mean, it would be a great conversation starter, but still, man. All right, you said it.
let's call it 5. Call it 5.
5,000.
You
Final
talked me into
answer.
5. I'm getting an extra grand out of that. I'll
People have
take it
said
all.
like $100,000.
That's insane, dude. $5,000. You know what those stacks of $5,000 like? You know, that's a band.
I
I'm
get
like,
it.
I'm taking $5,000. I'm putting it in my pocket. By the way, the paint. I'm kind of stoked about the tattoo paint. Like I actually enjoyed getting tattoos.
Okay.
So I'm not worried at all about the actual process.
Do we have to take care of the cost of the tattoo?
Tattoos cost nothing. I'll pay for that. That's fine.
Oh my god!
I'll pay for my own tattoo. I don't know what they
4,800.
I'm at 4,800. I don't know what they cost to come off. I'm calling it $5,000 plus 50% of my removal costs.
All right.
Let's
do this one. How much to get a Katy Perry neck tattoo?
A neck tattoo of Katy Perry, or does she have a neck tattoo?
No, of her.
Oof. Actually, I'd want to do this more, but it's also on your neck, so you can't hide it. You never want a neck tattoo. But
it is
so
Katy Perry.
Here's the thing.
You could do fireworks too, like whatever.
If I have a Katy Perry neck tattoo, right? And you pay me $30,000 for it.
Yeah.
I could be like, they'd be like, what is the deal? I'd be like, yo, somebody give me $30,000, put this on my neck. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I could justify it for that. Also, I'm a comedian. It's not like I'm getting accounting work anytime soon. Like,
no,
it'll be a great bit.
I love it, dude. I feel like that's so low, but that's what we need. That's exactly what we need.
I mean, $30,000. We're not talking about taxes involved in any of this stuff.
No, what's this cash? This cash money, dude.
$30,000 is like what I made in comedy last year. You know what I mean? Like, give or take.
Oh, that's fantastic, dude. Hell yeah. That's what we're gonna do then. Let me ask you this, a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. What was the craziest thing you've seen at a show? Has anything crazy happened at any of your shows? You travel a lot, go on the road a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's been I would say, I think the craziest thing I've seen is back like pretty early on in my thing. We had a heckler at a show, and it was one of those hecklers where it wasn't so bad that like they had to be dragged out of the show, but he for sure was like ruining and it was a showcase show, not a showcase show, but there was like 10 comics on. And I went up and I handled it like pretty fine. And he just kept getting more and more out of control. And at one point during the show, my buddy, he is not doing comedy anymore. I don't even know where he is these days, but shout out to the great Mike Amarata, who was a hilarious comedian when he was working. He wasn't going to stand for it at all. He's this little Long Island Italian kid. Mike Amarata, he gets up there. He's like, this guy talks to me. I'm going to fucking kick his teeth in. I'm going to fucking kick his teeth in. He literally starts talking, and it was at the comic strip in New York. And Mike literally steps from the stage fully onto their table and just starts kicking, he just starts kicking drinks and food like on it. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, you've been fucking ruining the whole fucking show. Now you got your fucking fettuccine Alfredo in your fucking lap. Now you got your fucking beer in your lap. And he's just kicking it. And the club got super pissed at Mike, obviously.
Yeah, weird.
But also the 10 comics were like, dude, you guys should have got him out of here like a long time ago. And the guy fucking like knows he's being a dick, so he kind of like takes it and just sits there. He doesn't cause like a big fucking mayhem thing. Now I'm sure after they paid for his shit or whatever, but he stuck around, watched the show with shit all in his lap and whatever. And I was like, first of all, Mike Amarata is a legend, and second of all, good on this guy for just like owning it too.
Yeah.
Like he got shit kicked in his lap, and he was just like, yeah. And his friends came out after. I was like, yeah, he was kind of being a dick. And we're like, well, this kind of sorted itself out.
That's funny. That's crazy. I would love to see that. As a comic, you'd be like, hell yeah. As an owner, you'd be like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
whatever. All right, two more questions, and then that's it. We have this next question is how much to okay. So there's the Zambezi River. It's considered the world's most dangerous river. Do you know anything about it?
No. Where is it?
All right. It's good question. No idea.
Okay.
I googled it. It's how much to bodyboard across it. It's basically it's got mines still. It's got deadly animals. It's got 188,000 crocodiles,
Yeah,
90,000 hippos.
dude. Honestly, I'm probably most afraid of like snakes. I'm
Yeah, there's
sure
plenty of snakes in
I'm sure
it.
there's hella snakes in there and crocodiles. I don't. I mean, this is where you just go. This is where I feel like now
It's
I
in
become.
Africa.
Yeah, I now feel like I become. First of all, you also get out and shit has gone in your body. You're probably dying of typhoid after. Um,
It
now
looks like a pretty river.
I'm gonna become every comic ever. This is where it gets to be like I don't know, $250,000.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good one.
I mean, so I'm now bodyboarding across it.
We'll let you take your surfboard.
See my surfboard now. If I get a little more fucking coverage.
I mean, you're still going across crocodiles. And
No, I know. So, all right. How wide is this river? Probably like a half-mile wide, right?
Yeah, of course.
Hella current. So even if you're on the board, you're going down river.
It says it's the most dangerous river in the world.
Yeah.
Which is obviously why I picked it. Because I'm not like, hey, how much to go across, a lame ass river.
I'm just trying to think. I feel like if I could take like a long surfboard, like if I take a longboard, I mean, your arms and legs are still out there to be fucking.
You're gonna be on a paddleboard.
Yeah, I would fall off paddleboard. No, I fucking hate standing up paddleboard. If I could paddle on this, yeah, I still think it's like in the $200,000 range.
Yeah, all right.
But like honestly, if you showed up with $200,000 and a longboard, like I'd paddle across that fucking river.
So just to let you know,
$200,000 is life-changing money.
100%. Just to let you know, people do raft on it.
Yeah,
and it's one of the most extreme entertainments in the world. So, I mean,
so it's deadly. It's a deadly excursion.
Yeah, it's deadly.
Not a terrible way to go. How'd Joe go? How'd Joe go? Trying to make $200,000 from some podcasts. Fucking.
The great thing though is the fans were pumped he didn't make it.
Yeah.
They all got their money back.
I always say that when people always ask me, like, because I've been surfing, especially in New York. I used to surf out in Montauk. People always be like, aren't you afraid of sharks? And there's sharks out there. I do a bit about it even. But, like, my thing was always, like, if you go by shark, pretty badass way to go. You know what I mean? If you get eaten by, like, an African hippo crossing the whatever, Randisi River or whatever the fuck you called it.
People will tell your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have a memorial bench somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Just right on the beach.
Yeah.
Right on the water. All right. Last question. How much to go skydiving?
I'm pretty afraid of heights, but I've always wanted to do it as well. $500.
$500? Okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. That's easy.
Right?
And then how about this? How much to go skydiving? There's 4 parachutes and only 3 of them are packed.
Love that you grease us up with like, how much for skydiving? Oh, 500? All right. How much to die? How much to die?
Well, no,
how much to play credit card roulette with a parachute?
It's a 25% chance, dude.
Yeah. $1 million.
$1 million. Okay.
I mean, seems low still, but
you could do it.
$1 million.
Yeah.
I again, people will tell my story.
They would definitely tell your story. It'd be on film. Jason Chaney, he had a good line about it. He goes, so what do? You just pull the one, and if it doesn't open, just confetti comes out of it? I was like, that's hilarious.
Or like the old cartoon, it just says bang.
Bang. You're like, well, looks like I'm not making it. Too funny, man.
I feel like my manager is going to listen to this, be like, we're never going to be able to get you work again. Now people will know you'll fucking die for $1 million. How am I supposed to ever sell a fucking show?
Be like, everybody knows we can lowball the shit out of
Yeah,
you.
everybody knows. Well, yeah, we'll give you a TV show for $50.
Too funny.
You were ready to die for $1 million.
Dude, hypothetical.
Yeah.
Hey man, anything you want to plug? Like your podcast? Great podcast. Give me the name and all that fun stuff.
You've been on our show, Dirty Sports Podcasts. We're like 700 something episodes in. We do it twice a week. Myself and Andy Ruther.
Great.
If you're a sports fan, we're big. You know, it's all sports under the sun, pretty much.
Yep.
Big baseball, football, basketball guys. Lots of baseball, obviously, coming up. And other
What's
than
your
that,
Twitter?
Yeah, at Fix Your Life on Twitter.
Because you're hilarious on Twitter, and you have a lot of
man.
sports info and sports jokes. It's fantastic.
Thanks. And at Fix Your Life on Twitter and at Joe Praino on all other social medias. Follow me on Instagram because that's the only thing that matters anymore.
I know, right?
A good Instagram following.
I love it, buddy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you doing this with me, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. Anytime. This was fun. And now I'm just gonna start looking at everything. I'm like, how much would I do that for?
I know, right? Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude. I'll see you soon.
All right.